phase, like he studies like a machine where you take one word, so you take this one word and you throw it into the machine, and all of a sudden you can take out 150 different words, right? Because each one of these words also gets like 10 different words on its own. So just because you know one word, you're gonna be able to come up with 150 different words just out of that one word once you memorize all this stuff. It's very cool how this works in Arabic. It's very different to an English language. In English, it's completely different. Was that clear? Did that make sense? Everybody got why that works that way? Anybody else have any other questions?
What did that mean before you went over aslama? What are the meaning of those when you were told us to substitute it?
Oh, aslama?
Yeah.
You want to know the meaning of the word aslama?
Yeah.
Aslama, there's different ways of translating. The most common way of translating is like he submitted. Right? He resigned himself. So in the context of Islam, when you say Muslim is somebody who submits, meaning submits to God, right? Gives up to God. So aslama, that's what it means. Like to resign yourself, to submit. Yuslimu, he is submitting, he is resigning right now. Islaman is the idea of Islam, the religion, basically the idea of submitting to God. So that's where the word comes from, Islaman. We say Islaman, literally in Arabic it's Islaman. Muslimun is the one who is submitting. Or someone who's a person who submits, that's why we're called Muslims, because we claim to be submitting ourselves to God, right? And the Musliman, by the way, who would be the Muslimun? If we're Muslims, who do you think is a Muslimun?
There's a plural.
Now, Muslimun. Muslim is not, Muslimuna is the plural of that. Right, we're Muslimun. Who is the Muslimun?
Who submitted? Who was submitted?
Well, in Arabic, actually, that wouldn't make sense, but that would be Allah, right? Because he's the one who's being submitted to. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm not getting yeses, so that's a no. Looks like you're confused.
Jonaid, of course, is it gonna start like, of course, baby steps, and then we go on all the way to this level, right?
This is, I had just
So this is just an example from like, but inshallah, we're starting like from page one, one by one until we get to that, inshallah. So if anybody feel like, oh, this is like hard or something,
I know people are not going to get
it's
everything,
not.
but I just
Yeah.
don't want somebody to be lost on anything major that I said, right? If you get the general idea of everything, that's fine. If you're confused about anything major, you need to raise your hand and ask me.
Just the time.
Right? Yeah, we have like 10 minutes. So that's in a nutshell everything. So
Okay, so tell us about the course, inshallah. What is required? What is needed? How many times a week?
questions? So okay, so we're planning now. We did this for like 11 months, but you know that was a full-time program. We don't need to. We did something called Balagha, which is not necessary for a part-time course like this. Because I know most of you guys are working. Not everybody can commit to like 8 hours a day or 6 hours a day. We're planning on dividing this into 4 days, 2 hours a day, right? And it's going to be divided into 2 semesters. So 8 weeks, 4 days each, 2 hours a day. The first 8 weeks is going to be going over grammar. The first stuff we went over, the Sa'ada, Mudari, Sunnatullah, that stuff and other stuff that's in grammar. That's the first 8 weeks. The second 8 weeks is going to be Sarf, this stuff. Sarf and also something called Advanced Nahu, which is, I don't have the book over here, I will inshallah. Like other minor stuff in grammar that we can't go over the first time, because the first semester we go over all the major stuff. The second semester we also go over the minor points in grammar. So that's going to be the second 8 weeks. Again, 8 weeks, 4 days a week, 2 hours a day. And it's going to start probably, I mean, if we get enough people registered, then we're going to start probably within a couple of weeks. I'll have to finalize with Abdullah. The tuition that I'm suggesting is $800 for the full 4 months. It can be divided into semesters, $400 a semester. Now that's the suggested tuition amount. I only need $100 for you to come to class, because then I can print your books. You're officially registered. I know you're somebody who's going to come back and not just saying I will. So I just need $100 from somebody if they're actually interested in taking the class. That means they're registered. The rest they can pay if they have it, if they want to stick to the class, they come and they like it, they stay for 2 months and they actually learned a lot, they decide they want to pay the rest of it, fine. I'm not going to ask again. So that's pretty much it with the tuition. Anything else that anybody needs to know?
Any guarantees in the class?
Well, that's a guarantee. I mean, you only pay me $100, you come to the class, if you don't think like you're benefiting, you're not learning anything, you're wasting your time, you say bye-bye, I don't see you again. But if you actually benefit from the class, you finish the semester, then you can pay your tuition.
But the time?
The time we have to finalize. So the master said that first we need to see if there's going to be enough people, then we can finalize the time. So if you guys are interested, anybody's interested in registering the class, they can just sign up. Doesn't mean they're actually going to pay me today. It just means that you're interested. I'll make a WhatsApp group. I'll message everybody, and then I'll speak to Abdullah and come up with some final times that we can do this class. So please sign in if you're thinking of doing this. Any other questions? Anything essentially important that
The problem is
What will be the possible time of the class?
I'm tentatively, and correct me if I'm wrong if this is not possible, I was thinking Thursday to Sunday, evening time, between Maghrib and Isha. Or if not, then between Asr and Isha. So let's say that's 6 to 8 or something, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Thursday to Sunday. Weekends are more flexible, you can even do like during the middle of the afternoon or something. But Thursdays and Fridays would be like 6 to 8, unless that can work for some reason. Would that work for everybody? No?
Even for the time we're gonna like.
Yeah, we're still actually working on a course. This is just an introduction to the whole thing.
Best time for everybody.
No.
Still like, you know, we didn't set up the time actually, but we can work, relax, like see what's the best time for everybody, most of the people, because I don't know we need to like all the time.
Yeah. That's the tentative idea.
Because this course is gonna be 4 days, because you know, 4 days is 1 day. It's easy to decide. You know what? 1 day is gonna be from this time to that. It's 4 days. It's gonna be like this most of the days. You have to agree on something.
Any other questions? What do you guys think? Honestly, I need honest feedback.
It was alright.
Should be only like
It was very
5 minutes.
informative.
Informative.
Yeah, but you didn't go into the vocab section yet.
Vocab, well, I can show you the listen. So vocab, by the way, good question. So vocab, what we do in this book, every chapter that we go over, there's going to be vocab that are going to come with it. So let's say every week I'll give you a list of, let's say, 50 words to memorize. You can do 10 a day, 5 a day, 20 a day, whatever you guys want. And at the end of the week, there's going to be a quiz, because I need to make sure everybody's studying the vocabulary, right? So that's just going to go every week. Every week we're going to have, it doesn't matter if we're studying Sarf or grammar, Nahu, whatever we're studying, we're going to have vocabulary every week. And that vocabulary is coming directly out of the Quran. It's words that most of you are going to be familiar with because you read the Quran. They're coming directly out. This word is directly out of the Quran. So that's going to build up as we go along. So by the time you end the course, you've memorized nearly 1,000 words directly from the Quran. And that's why when you read it, it'll make sense perfectly. All of these families, and these are just different words that all come in the Quran. These examples of them. Now each family is going to have multiple different words that we're going to drag out of the Quran and start memorizing. And we're going to teach you how to use the dictionary again. So, and there's many dictionaries in English that you could use. Anybody else have another question? Thank you. So good. I need some feedback. Call it out like 5 minutes left.
Should go around the room asking everybody what they thought about the course.
Let's start with you. Honest feedback.
Everybody should learn the Arabic language to understand. A lot of people who stand behind the Imam, they're like them. They don't know what the Imam is saying. I mean, they could pray in their homes, but to come behind the Imam is to get the message of the Quran. Like the Quran, God says, why those people don't think, consider about the Quran, think about the Quran, their hearts have been lost. Purpose is, if you don't understand the Quran, what Imam is saying, you don't get any credit from no ajr. Ajr is only when you understand it. That's it. People are in misconception, if you read 3 words, you get 3 ajr. No, I don't agree with this. Unless you understand it, then you get the credit. So it's the best way to understand it. That's my view.
No, I 100% agree with him. I was the opinion that you should read the Quran in your language. Or if you only speak Urdu, read in Urdu. If you only speak English, read in English, right? But if you can't study Arabic, it's better because the Quran is in Arabic.
As you understand
The translation is always going to be 90%, 80%, 50%. It's not going to be 100%. And there's so many verses in the Quran that I can read now that this has 3 different meanings. You could translate 1 or the 3 different ways, but you can't translate all 3 in one sentence in English, right? There's multiple meanings. But you'll never know that if you don't have access to the Arabic. Everything you're going to learn in this course, you can now do that. Now you can go to the Quran, you can read the English translation. Okay, let me double check if this is the same thing that's in the Arabic. You go to the Arabic now, Yeah, that's possible, but this is also possible. This guy didn't write this down, right? There's some verses like that I came across, like nobody translates it like this, but it's possible. I asked my ustad, I'm like, ustad, is this possible translation? He said, yes, it is, but nobody translates it that way, right? So it's essential if you can't study it, and this is not, again, this is not my work. This is Bayina's. Ustad Oman did all this. He come with a genius guy, came up with everything, like, we don't need to spend 5 years in studying all this stuff. You could do this in 6 months, right? Enough for anybody to learn, right? It's cheap. We paid $9,500 tuition. We went to Dallas. We studied over there. We got rooms. We had to buy food and all this stuff. $25,000, $30,000 spent over the 1 year studying Arabic, right? This is in Staten Island, local for people that are living over here. It's $800 maximum if people are going to pay. If somebody wants to really learn and they can't afford it, I'm not going to say no, you can't learn, right? Because it's local. I don't mind. But even if it's a full tuition, the books are included. You're living here. You don't have to move anywhere else to go study. It's very cheap if in your home. So like Uncle said, like if people can do it, there's really no excuse to not. Because you're reading the Quran, you're reading Salah every day, and you're not doing it in your language, you're doing it in Arabic. Right? It'd be one thing, you're like, hey, in my masjid we do it in Urdu, I don't need this stuff. I agree with you, fine, do it in Urdu. Right? But they don't allow that either. For some reason our scholars say that you have to do it 100% in Arabic, everything. Right? So if you do it in Arabic, know what you're reading. Right? Know what you're reading. This is more important than tajweed. Right? We teach all our children how to read the Quran perfectly. Who cares? They don't know what he's reading. Right? There's so many people, I met somebody here the other day, 3 days ago. He's Egyptian, he knows Arabic very well. But his son is 11-year-old Hafiz. He memorized the whole Quran, he doesn't know what the word Fajr means. I wonder why, because nobody teaches him. Right? It's not very hard. Becoming a Hafiz takes a year, 2 years. If you know what the language is, becoming a Hafiz will be half the time. Because you already know what it means. Right? You're not just memorizing words you don't know what they are. So, I mean, that's beyond saying how important it is. Now I read the Salah, I know everything of what I'm reading. If I hear somebody reciting the Quran when I'm reading Salah, I know at least 60-70% what the guy's saying. Right? It's a much big difference. When you're listening to a recitation, the biggest benefit for me, because 100%, biggest benefit is now when I hear a recitation of the Quran, somebody I really like, and I know what he's saying, big difference. It's always beautiful to hear recitation, even if you don't know what it's saying, because that's the Quran, one of the miracles of the Quran, that a recitation always sounds nice. But when you know what it's saying and it's beautiful, it's much big difference, a huge difference, right? So that's what we're offering, and if people want to learn, we're going to do this. We need like 6-7 people at least, so that the mosque give me permission to do this, and so make the offer us and make sure so we can make this work.
Inshallah. So also, like, if you really want to learn, this is the only way to come to class and sit down and learn.
Right.
You're never gonna do it on your own.
That's
You don't have
point you
time
brought
to.
up, because I actually did it on my own. I did that Arabic.
It will take years and we'll never get there.
Yeah, I did the whole thing. I spent 3 months. I thought I'm going to learn Arabic in 3 months.
You gotta put the effort. Yes.
Right? And I learned a lot. I learned a lot of this stuff. But now I open the Quran, like, so what? I don't know anything. First of all, because online you don't learn any vocabulary, right? There's no vocabulary, maybe like 40, 50 words in the end you learn, right? Second, you're not applying it. You're getting a whole textbook. You could even do this at home. You don't take it home, apply it. You constantly apply something, it sticks in your head. If you just learn it today, like I'll ask you guys what akhbar means, most of you are going to remember. Oh yeah, he informed me. Tomorrow, the day after, third day, you're going to forget, because you're not applying it, right? But once you're actually applying it, this curriculum is designed to teach you and apply at the same time. Apply at the same time. Apply to practice. Learn more vocabulary. Read the Quran while you're at it. Every day, I'm probably going to tell you read like 2 verses of the Quran, at least 2-3 verses. Translate them for me, and then listen to them, and then write them down. I'm going to put on a verse. Hey, what does this verse mean? Write it, translate it, and write it down for me, right? Of course, it's going to take time. Everybody's not going to be perfect right away. But by the end of 4 months, you realize, hey, I listened to Surah Yusuf, and I know everything this guy just said, right? So our semester ended on Taraweeh. I'm sorry, we'll end this in 3 minutes. So our semester ended right around Ramadan, right? Just around 2 months ago. And so now we're reading Taraweeh. And this is when all our students start realizing how much we learned. Because when you're learning, it's slow. You don't remember, I came in 2 months ago, I didn't know anything. It gradually builds up, so you don't realize how much I just learned. Now that we're listening to the Quran recited at night, we're like, whoa, I just understood everything this guy recited, or at least most of what he just recited, right? Whereas before, just 1 year ago, I didn't know anything he said. Or maybe like the 1-2 verses which I regularly listen to, right? But now I know everything he just said. It's like the most beautiful feeling, right? Otherwise, you're just standing behind an imam and for 2 hours wasting your time, in my opinion. Like, you don't know what he's saying. Simple, and that's what explains the condition of Muslims, because we don't read our books. Or we read it, but we don't know what we're reading. It's an amazing book. I mean, if you think about it, this is the last thing I'm going to say, guys. We believe as Muslims that we have a book that the creator of the universe gave us, right? That's what we all believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? Interrupt me if you think I'm saying anything wrong. we believe that this book, the Quran, like the one who made the entire universe gave us this one book. Right? That's what we believe. And we don't know what it says. Right? We're reading other books, we're reading like Harry Potter, we're reading other stuff, but we don't know what the book says. Right? You would think, and it's not a big book, it's this small. The Bible is like this big. Anybody ever read the Bible here? No, right? I try to read the Bible, it's like this big. It's so big. Right? The Quran is like 10 times smaller than that. And it repeats a lot. It says a lot of verses again and again and again because they're important for you to remember. Right? So how is it that we don't want to learn the one book that we think the creator of the universe gave us? Right? And it's not that hard now. Alhamdulillah, it's not that hard anymore. So I would strongly advise people to take the class. It's very affordable. It's in your neighborhood now. Nobody else is doing this in Staten Island as far as I know. And I went out of my way to find somebody in New York who does this. And I couldn't find anybody. I had to go to Dallas. Right? My parents are here. You can ask them. That's my mother in the back. That's my father behind all in the back. So
Great job, mashallah.
I tried very hard to find somebody in New York. Right? Nobody's doing this in New York. So we're bringing the Bayna curriculum to you guys over here. And
most of the brothers,
Sorry.
they came to take the class. They want to take the class now. If we can come up with the times and days.
Sure, no. I just need whoever's interested, they can sign.
Yeah, sign up, inshallah.
Put their email, put their phone number. I'm going to speak to Abdullah. I'm going to finalize the time. I'll message you, everybody, this is the time. And then we'll take it from there.